Superwoman Summit. Just the energy, just being surrounded with the right people, the right energy, the right mindset. Change that for me. A recording of her. So you've got an invitation, Alenia. Oh my gosh, yes, girl.
Hello, hello, Ava. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted. Thank you so
Oh
much.
my gosh, let me tell you what a treat you have here. So this girl is so inspiring. She is such an inspiration. Talk about a while ago. I mean, this is all building up over each other. So we had Dr. Jill first, in our show. The first one that says everything is right about you. No matter what your challenges are, no matter what your situation, your obstacles, they're all designed to pull you to a better you, to pull you to
Yeah.
a stronger you. They're all designed to pull you to be able to overcome, to be able to get stronger, to be able to, get tenacious, like there's an invitation, there's an opportunity, an invitation. Everything
Yes.
is right about what you feel is wrong about you. That's amazing. And then we had, Blair, who just blasted through the financial, obstacles. Everything's right about whatever your financial challenges are right now or what you don't know. And then we had just that came out is Dr. Megan and Mo, who talked about health. Now we have here Alina, who's such a treat because let me tell you, this is a walking, talking, living person who just overcame obstacles, and her mindset about overcoming obstacles is so powerful. What really touched me about her, I'm going to share your quick story really, really quickly. But what touched me about her is that she decided to be who she didn't have when she was a child, to be the
Yes.
person that she wanted to have to other kids. So I'm actually stealing her from her youth group that she's mentoring on Sunday afternoon. She's mentoring some teens, and it's so powerful. I'd love to hear your story of where you came from, what obstacles you had to overcome, and what made you decide to be that person you didn't have for other teens and other kids. I'd love to hear your story.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I want to give you your flowers for just putting together this phenomenal event. A little bit about myself. While I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio, many of you may not know where that is, but it is a small city in Ohio. And I was actually raised by my grandmother. One huge obstacle that I overcame to now was that I really didn't have my mother involved like I wanted to. So all of the women that are out there, as you're thinking, I believe that your very first best friend should be your mother. And so not being able to have that, I didn't really know how to cultivate relationships with other women. And so for me, my basketball coach was a huge, huge impact for me. I learned the game of basketball, but in learning the game of basketball, I learned discipline, character, and a lot of interpersonal skills that I just didn't have as a child. And so at no fault of my grandmother, because she could only give me to that capacity that she knew. And so I'm just so delighted and I'm so excited because growing up, I didn't know what thriving looked like. I didn't know what having that superwoman power and, just having women to emulate the essence of a woman. And so I spent a lot of my time playing sports. I don't know who my father is. And so many of us could use that as an obstacle and say, I'm not able to do this or I'm not able to do that because I don't know who my father was. And so for me, I use those areas as opportunities for me to grow. I always say, turn your obstacles into opportunities. As I look back over my life, I didn't know why I was just kind of the one that would stand off and be a little bit different. And so to this day, I just look back on my childhood and it really was me persevering. It was really me trying to be that person and find that person that I never had. And so my mother, actually, she's paranoid schizophrenic. And at the time of her having me, she had been on and off drugs for several years. And so there was a lot of moments where I was embarrassed of my mother. I really didn't know her story. And so once I became an adult, I needed to know what was her story during the time that she had me. And so being able to open up and ask questions that I never asked, and to be honest, questions that I don't know if I wanted to know about. And so
Mm.
I ended up going into the field in mental health. I ended up connecting with individuals and helping. And so once I saw that, you have to understand, and I had to understand, my mother could only give me what she knew and what she had in her toolbox. And
Yeah.
so being able to go on a search to find who I was, it was just so important. I ended up being a first generation college graduate in my family. I ended up moving on. Thank you. I'm moving on and started a nonprofit, Ladies Under Construction. And yes, I work with, have them every Sunday. Those are my babies. Regardless of what I do, I always love to give back. And so, yes, I spend time with them once a week. It's teenage young ladies, just being that person for them that I always wanted as a young girl. Released my first book last year, and I actually finished my master's degree. And so, although I've done all those things, I always wanted to become that person. So I always say, Ava and friends, I am the person to change the trajectory of my bloodline. And so that is my purpose. That is my goal. And with that, I want us all to use our obstacles and see them as opportunities for us to grow to the next level. And so that's just a little bit about me.
Oh my gosh, I'm on fire right now. I am on
Yes.
fire, Aleanya. Anybody else on fire? I just want you to light up the chat. Love on Aleanya. Oh my gosh. Just such a powerhouse. Imagine, not having a dad, having a mom that just, was
Yes.
that fire. You think it just gives you
Yes.
fire, a lot of fire, having a mom who was just on and off drugs, not being taken care of. And for her to achieve the amazing things that she has achieved, but not only achieved, but gave back. She's
Yes.
continuing to give back right now where I'm stealing her from. She's actually in the center where she's teaching teens, where she's mentoring teens. And I said, even if you just kind of like squeeze in 20 minutes. So she made it work. So thank you so much. But there's so much power. And so I know that just with your story of how you've made decisions to turn your obstacles into your opportunities, there is so much power in that, because a lot of times we get stuck with obstacles.
Yes.
We see obstacles as barriers. I'm not even sure if we see them as barriers or we see them as they're disempowering. I've been there,
Yeah.
and I'm still there. I'm still processing through. Well, I can't have this because I don't have this, and I can't do this because I don't have this. There's a lot of things we don't have,
Right.
or there's a lot of things that we are not. Like I don't have that strength. I'm not designed that way. But to have such a mindset, such a powerful mindset, and this is why I feel like we're so blessed to have you here, Aleanya, is because you're a living, breathing, walking person
Yeah.
who turns literally. I mean, I think it's programmed in your mind. It's gotta be programmed in your mind that when you see obstacles, you see opportunities to grow in. Tell us how you
Yes.
see that. How did you see that?
And so for me, a lot of times my main goal is this. In life, we're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And so I believe for me, because I know that I started with nothing, I started in my valley moments. As I continue to try to propel to that mountaintop, I've just been able to just have that mindset because I know what it was like to not have. And so when we think about certain things, I think about it like that new career, the first day on the job. You have training, you have orientation, you have your 90-day probation. So if you look at your life like that, whatever it is new that you want to try, there's growing pains. Your muscle is going to be able to build you muscle and strength of endurance. If we're scared of opportunities, if we're scared of obstacles, we're scared to grow.
True. That is so true. And there's so much beauty in what we're talking about. I hope that you were in on Dr. Jill's, because I feel like this is the reason why Dr. Jill was our keynote speaker, because she really prefaced everything, all of this mindset, that if we see that everything is right about your challenges, everything is right about your obstacles, everything is right with whatever situation you're in, your age right now, feeling unaccomplished, feeling like things were against you, everything is right about that. Let's settle for a moment that everything is right about that, because then you know, if we become aware and we acknowledge and say it's okay, this is where I'm starting, this is what I have right now, then it becomes an opportunity that we can overcome. It becomes an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution, and we get to choose. We're
Yeah.
powerful enough to make that choice, and it takes a shift, it takes a mindset. Whenever you're faced with hard things, how do you get out of it? How do you talk yourself into.
So I would say for me, for one, I have accountability partners. I have
Mm,
accountability partners, and that's huge because if I want to go and grow from something, I have to have people that's willing to push me even when I don't want to be pushed. And so I think
mm,
of the end goal. And so if there's an obstacle that I have, I think of the end goal that's on the other side of the obstacle. And so for me, anything that I do in life is for my legacy. It's for the children that are coming after me in my family. And so I believe that there's no sacrifice I'm not willing to face because my reward is much greater than the sacrifice. And so when I see that obstacle, we see the obstacle, but we don't remember what's on the other side of the obstacle. And so we have to all remind ourselves and tell ourselves that although this obstacle may be high, it may be deep, it may be long, it's not much greater than the thing on the other side of that obstacle. So when we
yes.
do get on the other side, it's important to reach back because we remember what it was like and how tough it was to get over that obstacle, whatever it is in life.
That is so beautiful. You could make
Yes,
me cry. Literally, that once we get over that mountain, that we reach back and reach back
yes,
to the people, and that's exactly the life that you live. That's the life that you live. I see how, oh my gosh, you're a living, talking, breathing, obstacle breaker, wall kicker. I mean, like, tough, tough, tough. And you breathe that into these teens that you mentor. And
yes.
you do this, out of giving, and
And
all of us. I just want to encourage. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, one thing, Ava, I do want to share also is that although it sounds great and it sounds very exciting, I want to let everyone know that some days you have to do it scared. You have to do it crying. You have to do it while you're still frustrated. So there's a lot of emotions that come with it. And so I want to tell everyone, because sometimes people will say, you got to do this, do that. And it seems so easy. But let me tell you all, there's days that I cry. There's days that I'm frustrated. But even though we're feeling those emotions, we push on anyways, because it is important for people to understand that you're human
Mm,
first. We have emotion
yes.
and it's okay to not be okay. And so that's just so important because it is time. But I just feel like the tougher the obstacle, the tougher the challenge, the more muscle I'm going to have to endure through it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so well said, Aledia. That is so well said. I know that you've prepared some things that you wanted to gift to our audience. There's so much power in who you are, as a person. It's pretty amazing. I mean, just the tenacity. If I can get a little bit more of your tenacity in me, just breaking through that barrier, breaking through that obstacle, not being afraid, just being able to see what's on the other side. That no matter what it is that we're against, that the promise, whether it is your health, really, the promise of having great health is so much more rewarding, so much more important than the inconveniences right now. Whether the inconvenience is going to be a diet, whether it's going to be the inconvenience of workout, but the promise of good health, being able to regain your life back, is so much, compared to the barrier that we have right now. So tell us, Alina, how do we get what you're because one of the things that we're doing here is we're all giving, and we have to give Alina grace because she's with teenagers. she's she's
Sorry. Yeah, I
mentoring
have
teens
one of
right
my
now.
girls. You
No,
want to wave at them? Say
yes,
hi.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so she's
Everything
going
is
to be the
right
door
about
person
that.
for me.
Everything is right about that. So awesome. We just give you all the love.
No
Light up the
problem.
chat. To all our participants. I just love on her for coming on the show. Still being in the midst of mentoring her teens. Let us know what gift are you giving our
Yes,
audiences, and how can they find you more, get more of you, hear more of you.
yes, and it's so interesting you're saying more. So what it is a
Sure, yeah.
it's an actual document, a PDF document. It's called More Out of Life. More out of life, because that's what I believe in, getting more out of life. No one is complete. I always encourage people to stay focused, dream big, and don't quit. No matter what obstacle you are, as we continue to just recharge and reset, it's okay to take a pause. It's okay to take a rest, but just get up. I always say, if you can look up, you can get up. And so just to be able to recharge, just to give you a little information, a couple of things from the actual reading of what you will obtain is who's in your tribe. It's very important to see who's in your tribe. Who are you surrounding yourself with? What goals do you have? Who are the people that's in your circle? And when you realize the people that are in your circle, make sure they're also in your corner. A lot of times we have people that are in our circle, but they're not in our corner. And so we have to establish our supporters versus our spectators. Another one is being able to turn your mess into a message. Are the obstacles that you found, have you found a way around those obstacles? You want to ask yourself to identify your mess, and in that, create a process for that mess to become a message. There's a lot of things that we
So
go
good.
through, but we do not grow through it. It's very important. The last couple of things is upgrading yourself, just taking a step forward and asking yourself, what is it that I need, and who are the people that I need to have around me? And the last thing that I always like to say is never dilute yourself or diminish your value for the comfort of other people. That's very, very important. And always remember, energy is contagious. So what type of energy are you putting off that's attracting different type of people? So we can all recharge. Everybody has that superwoman inside of them. So I always say it's time for us to just awaken the giant that's in us. And we have to make sure that we move forward and get around people that's conducive to our growth. So that is, once again, it's called More Out of Life, and you'll be able to read it, understand it, and I hope that can ignite the fire to propel towards your purpose.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Her last name is Moore, Aleanya Moore. And so the document is More Out of Life. That is so
Yes.
amazing. So this is
Mm-hmm.
when I want to encourage you to be part of the Facebook group, because we are going to go through this together. I'd love to be able to get feedbacks of and give it back to Aleanya on what your takeaways are. Type it on the chat right now. Light up the chat and say what your takeaways are. But that's what's one aha moment for you? What breakthrough did you get out of this? What energy did you get out of Aleanya today? Because she's really pouring on us. She's giving us in the midst of mentoring her team. So that's just so amazing. So we're going to email that document to you. We're also going to email you a recording of Aleanya, because there's so much treasure in everything that you shared this morning today, that it's so powerful. It is really life changing if we can just absorb it. There's such a shift in the mindset, in that kind of thinking of just breaking through barriers and seeing what's on the other
Yes.
side. That's so powerful. So tell us, how can they get more of you? More of you. How can they get more of you?
Well, it is.
I know that you have.
Yep, it's the website is MOL Speaks with an S, molspeaks.org. That is the website. So you're able to reach out to me. Once again, it's molspeaks.org.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And where else can they follow you? I know that you have an Instagram too.
Yes, so for my website, it's More Out of Life. So it's Moore. It's More Out of Life Speaks. And so I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I am on Instagram, MOL Speaks. And so those are my two main sites that I'm on. So if you do, once again, it's More Out of Life Speaks or MOL Speaks on Instagram.
That is so awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aleanya. Thank you so much. Give us your last words, since we have about a few more minutes. Give us your last words
what is it that you, I know you've given us so much nuggets already, but what is it, in your more out of life, if there's any one thing that someone can take away right now, on here, what would it be that you'd tell them?
I would say, no matter what you're going through, even if you feel like you're at a standstill, remember why you started. Remember what you're here for. And always remember that your journey is not about you. It's about the lives that's waiting to hear about your testimony. So us not moving forward, we are robbing someone else of their breakthrough. So I hold the piece to your puzzle to help you complete your puzzle, and understand that you hold the piece to someone else's puzzle. So get busy, get excited, and just stand up and fight for your legacy. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, what a way to end this interview. What a way to end this. Aleanya, thank you so much. Give our hugs to your teams. Give our hugs
Thank you.
to everything that you're doing. We will follow you. We'd love to hear more of you. I'm going so we have some audiences that are typing up things in the chat. I'm going to invite you again to another recording so that we can answer some of the questions together,
Okay.
okay?
Sounds
Awesome. Thank
great.
you
Thank
so much.
you all. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Let's, wow, 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 wow. So that's just so powerful. I feel like we have to breathe after that. We just have to breathe after that. So tell me what your takeaways are. So right now, I'm not alone in this chat. We've got some people. I'm gonna just go read back, some of the chats. A lot of fires. Lots of fires. Yeah, so good. Um, I'm almost speechless. So I'm gonna go give you a recap of what we've had so far. It's just amazing how they all just come together. We first had Dr. Jill Khan, who, and you're gonna, if you weren't here for that, you're gonna get that in a recording. Everything, this is a fully sponsored event. Everything is free. So there's not a VIP. You are all a VIP. If you ever went to a summit, they would say, sign up to be a VIP. You're all VIPs. So you're all gonna get all of the recordings, all of the snippets, future recordings. It will be emailed to you. If you in its surroundings is everything. If you want to be surrounded with positive energy, if you want to be able to start planning into people, something that Aleanya actually said that resonated so much is that you're a piece to someone else's puzzle. And a lot of times when we feel stuck in life and we're stuck in our energies because we're just thinking of ourselves and we're thinking of our challenges and our things that aren't working. But the moment we focus out and we focus out to who needs our message, who actually needs to hear that I can get better from this, who needs to get better, who needs to hear that I can actually overcome this, who needs to get inspired that I actually can do this, then we get that energy, we get that we get that strength to be able to overcome whatever barriers we're in. So I encourage you, surround yourself with positivity. Come on to the Facebook group. Let's encourage each other. Let's recharge each other so that we can be pieces to each other's puzzle, that we all get to step outside of ourselves and be there for others. I think that's the answer to life. That we're not in life in isolation, that we're here together, we're here as a community, and we're here to strengthen, encourage, uplift, and remind each other that everything is right about you. Everything is right about you. Whatever your challenges, your situation, your age right now, your condition, everything is right about that, because that was given to you to overcome so that you can tell your story to someone else, so that you can actually pull someone else, who's going through what you're going through right now. It is actually your path to your greatness. Your path to your greatness. That is so awesome. So our next one is going to be perfect, 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 a perfect next speaker, because we just had Aleanya speak to us about being tenacious, about being willing to do what's difficult to do, to be able to make that decision, that even though it seems hard and it seems uncomfortable and it seems like it's going to take so much work, it's going to take so much time. It's all okay. It is all okay. Everything is okay. Everything is right about you. You are powerful. You are courageous. You are strong. You are happy. You are joyful. You have the ability to turn your life around. So, yes, everything is right about you. Who's coming up next is Dr. Rocky. Dr. Rocky is gonna be she's called Dr. Fit Mama. She's Dr. Fit Mama, and she specializes in moving and weight loss and a lot of a lot of healthy other things. And I'm gonna have Dr. Rocket speak about herself. I know we're a little early. We're about 4 minutes early into our next speaker, and I know that she should be here, but let's give it some grace that yeah, Dr. Rocky's here, but let's not, I'm gonna go pull Dr. Rocky and let's just have a conversation. I know we're a little early. And I'm gonna change the role to our panelists. Okay, Dr. Rocky.